Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the situation briefing especially on the effects of the weather systems and what we have, what our various agencies have been able to do. Well, the first part is, of course, to get forecast or situation a situation report on what the weather is doing and what we think it will do in the near future. So I leave it to Secretary Solidum to give us that briefing.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next slide. Seen on the slide, Mr. President, are at least 3 weather systems affecting our weather in the country. To the northeast is Tropical Storm Dante moving at 15 kilometers per hour to the northwest and projected to be a tropical depression later on, several days from now. But what's happening now is pulling the southwest monsoon, affecting Visayas and Luzon. But the most immediate threat now for us would be the severe tropical storm Emong, which is 245 kilometers west of Bacnotan, La Union, with a wind speed of 110 kilometers per hour, and right now moving at southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. But later tonight, it will make a U-turn and pull in the southwest monsoon towards the north. Now, there is a low-pressure area further to the east, Mr. President, and we have to also prepare on how it will affect the monsoon later on in the Philippines. Next slide. This will be the track of Emong. It will move southwestward before turning northeastward in the next 24 hours. It will pass close to Pangasinan, possible landfall over Ilocos region tonight or tomorrow early morning, and will re-emerge over the Luzon Strait and may pass close to Babuyan Island on Saturday. Next slide. Because of the passage of Emong, we have raised the following storm signals. 1 in blue, signal 2 with gale force winds in yellow, and the parts of Pangasinan and La Union for signal number 3. Next slide. We also have warned for possible storm surges from 1 to 2 meters for the provinces of Batanes, Cagayan, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, and Zambales. Next slide. For the forecast rainfall for today, you will note that there are 3 colors there: yellow from 50 to 100 millimeters for 24 hours, orange from 100 to 200 millimeters forecast for 24 hours, and that will include Metro Manila, and greater than 200 millimeters for 24 hours for those provinces in the western side of the Philippines. By tomorrow, the provinces in the Bicol region will not have much rain, but still the provinces towards the west of the country will still experience rain. But because Emong is moving northeastward by then, we will have increased rain in Ilocos Norte, Apayao, and Cagayan. And by Saturday, as the southwest monsoon is pulled towards the north by Emong, we will have yellow and orange rainfall forecast, and Metro Manila will have much less than 50 po. Next slide. Now for the tropical cyclone threat potential for the next 2 weeks, as both Dante and Emong will move, they will be close to each other but may not really join, as Dante will be a tropical depression. The low pressure area to the east, which is number 1 on the upper graph, Mr. President, will be close to the Philippine area of responsibility, and we'll have to watch out if ever this will pull in the southwest monsoon. Next slide. Ito po yung updates natin sa dam. Ongoing po yung release ng water sa Ipo and Ambuklao and Binga, but the Ambuklao-Binga release will be caught by San Roque. So far, yun po yung situation natin, Mr. President. Next slide. Okay, yan po ang end, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you for that forecast. So this is what we can expect in the next week and 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks for in terms of the weather. But like any other forecast, things change. Kaya tutukan na lang natin if there are any changes. Okay. For the preparedness and response measures, ASEC Alejandro will take us through the details, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Just to update the President on the combined effects of southwest monsoon, tropical cyclones Krising, Dante, and Emong as of 5 a.m. this morning. A total of 2,000 families or 5.89 thousand persons were preemptively evacuated in regions 1, 2, CAR, 3, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Region 6, and Caraga. In terms of affected and displaced population, 4,000 barangays or 934,000 families or 3.3 million persons were affected across all regions. 1.2 thousand evacuation centers remain operational, currently housing 51,000 families or close to 154,000 persons. An additional 39,000 families or 160,000 persons are displaced outside evacuation centers. NCR has the highest number of displaced families inside evacuation centers with 24,000 families, and Region 1 has the highest number of displaced families outside evacuation centers with 19,000 families. Following a brief decline, the number of displaced families, both inside and outside ECs, has begun to increase again, attributed to the continued heavy rainfall brought by southwest monsoon and tropical cyclones Dante and Emong. In terms of casualties, we recorded 12 dead persons from Calabarzon, Region 10, Region 6, Caraga, Mimaropa, NCR, Region 11. Causes of death include falling debris, drowning, electrocution, and being swept by strong flood currents. In terms of injuries, we recorded 8 persons from Region 12, 10, 9, and Regions 1. Injuries are due to fallen debris and uprooted trees. We recorded 8 missing persons from Region 6, NCR, Calabarzon. Missing persons were attributed to incidents of being swept away by strong currents and drowning. All casualties are subject to validation. In terms of damaged houses, 2.4 thousand houses are reported damaged in all regions, of which 423 are totally damaged and over 2,000 are partially damaged. In terms of infrastructure, damage to infrastructure and agriculture, estimated damage to infrastructure amounts to 3.9 billion pesos, with reports coming from Regions 1, 2, CAR, 3, Mimaropa, 6, and NIR. Damage and losses to agriculture sector amounts to 323 million, affecting Regions 1, 2, 3, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, 5, 6, NIR, and Regions 12. In terms of suspension of classes, 812 cities and municipalities suspended work in their respective AORs in Regions 1, 2, CAR, 3, NCR, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, 5, 6, and NIR. Over 1,000 cities and municipalities suspended classes in all regions except Region 11. On the status of lifelines, several cities and municipalities are still experiencing interruption in power supply, water supply, and communication lines. 104 road sections are currently impassable in Regions 1, CAR, 3, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Region 6, and NIR. 14 bridges are not passable in Regions 1, 3, 6, 10, and BAR. In terms of flooding, based on the...
One second, yung sa not passable, anong ibig sabihin niya? Sira o underwater o na
some are
landslide?
underwater, sir, and landslide. Due
What
to
about yung
landslide.
tulay? 14 is, when you say it's not possible, nasira na?
Hindi naman, sir. It's due to
So why is it not possible? Just
level of flooding.
inabutan na ng tubig.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
In terms of flooded barangays, based on the data from DILG as of 4 a.m. this morning, over 1,100 barangays remain flooded. More than 273 barangays are experiencing receding floodwaters, and 930 barangays have reported that floods have fully subsided. The majority of flooded areas are located in the western part of Luzon, due to the enhanced southwest monsoon. 40 cities and municipalities are declared under state of calamity in regions 1, 3, NCR, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and 6. In terms of assistance provided, government agencies have provided over 181 million worth of assistance to affected families in regions 1, 2, CAR, 3, NCR, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, regions 5, 6, NIR, 9, 11, and 12. An additional 8.4 million worth of assistance was provided to augmentation support to responding LGUs and agencies in CAR and Mimaropa. That ends my short briefing, Mr. President.
All right, so these are those who have been affected. We'll get to that, but before, I wanted to ask about the DepEd. What are we doing about the schools that are now full of evacuees? Anyway, let's do Rex's report first.
Yes, sir.
And then I want to do that, and I want to do also. Still thinking about the children, the health.
Yes, sir.
The healthcare.
Okay, sir.
But anyway, sige, Rex, ikaw na muna.
Thank
Give
you.
us what you have been able to do so far.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a short presentation. If we can pull it up. All right, next slide. Mr. President, I won't go through this slide anymore because it's covered by ASEC Rafi's presentation. Suffice to say, it just shows the number of affected barangays, number of affected families. But the next slide is more of our concern. Mr. President, at the moment, we have 1,192 open evacuation centers, 45,168 families inside the evacuation centers. Now, there's a slight difference in the number of ASEC Rafi and mine because it depends on the cutoff. We use the same base data, but sometimes we print it much later or he prints it much later. But give or take, Mr. President, it comes close to each other. Now, the next slide is the slide, Mr. President, that pertains to DSWD. We've already released since last Saturday 337,228 family food packs. At the moment, Mr. President, the requests are streaming in from various regions. We are looking at close to 600,000 requests. It will come close to our Karina numbers. So the pending requests right now sums up to 540,000, of which we've catered 337,000. Most of these requests, Mr. President, na hindi pa nakikater are new requests from LGUs. They're now starting to stream in kasi for the past couple of days, they've been very busy with their rescue operations. Mr. President, I'd like to point out and thank Secretary Mina because we got our fresh replenishment of quick response. That should keep our production centers running all throughout the typhoon, the next 3 typhoon season. So we're okay, Mr. President. The media has been asking if we have enough, given that there's a protracted number of storms coming in. The centers, when we started the Crising run, it was 3 million family food packs in our warehouse. We haven't stopped production, so we have more than enough to cover for the next couple of storms. Mr. President, that's the last slide.
Etong nandito, these came from where? They were already forward position?
Yes, Mr. President, they're coming from our regional warehouses already.
Okay.
And then we haven't stopped production in the Pasay site and in the Cebu site because we want to keep on replenishing their stockpile. There are 2 modes of the requests coming in from local government units. There are 2 modes of dispatching them. Some of them we deliver, some of them they pick up. So
all right.
It's a joint effort already between the national government and the local government. But what we're assuring them is we have the goods, we just need to get it to them. And the balance of unprocessed came in yesterday evening. Most of the older requests have already been dispatched with.
So the balance is how much?
Mr. President, we're looking at another close to 300,000.
300,000.
New requests are streaming in from NCR and Central Luzon. Malalaki na ho in requests because there are flooded areas in Camanava and then Pampanga and Bulacan.
All the way down to Cavite pati.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, so how are we transporting all of this?
Mr. President, 2 ways. We have our own hauling services that we procured. Pero,
kulang yun.
but the LGUs are also helping us kasi meron talaga silang sariling capacities. Private sector like GCash has already pitched in. And then we would call OCD to deploy military or police equipment.
For transportation.
Yes, sir, to
Yeah.
get it to the LGUs.
Yeah, all right.
And then the last mile, as you know, Mr. President, the LGUs take care of.
Yeah, so LGUs talaga, well, LGUs I know already. It's just a question, ay maayos ang coordination ninyo ng, well, national governments, specifically DSWD, and the other relief agencies, but that also concerns DOH. So what we have, what we noticed was in yung pinuntahan namin sa San Mateo and sa was there's some the congestion, so which immediately brings to mind the danger of infection that will be that will spread very quickly from one. So I'm glad to note though that each one that we went to had a health center, a clinic. And that is manned by what? How many people is that one team?
So one clinic is manned by local government municipal health officer.
Okay.
Tapos we augment them with nurses and doctors. So pag nag-request sa amin ng local government, we deploy our health human resources. We've deployed about 1,000. So I think in Metro Manila, we have about 190 na dineploy. When we visited, Rex and I visited several evacuation centers, maayos yung clinic. Yung nabisita po natin, Mr. President, you're correct. Our number one consultation is respiratory infection.
Yeah.
So tama kayo, in that particular setting, mukhang overcrowded talaga yung Santa Ana gymnasium. We're luckier in the other evacuation centers. Families are placed in classrooms.
Yeah.
So in a classroom, there are only like 4 families. So hindi ganun ka high risk. So tama kayo, Mr. President. Nagpapadala ako doon sa regional director ko ng mga face mask, surgical mask. So at least if the kids have upper respiratory infection, ma-prevent by asking the kids with infection to wear the mask.
Again, there has to be close coordination because hindi naman lahat ng doktor at saka nurse na nagmaman ng health center. Karamihan actually, we only supply, mostly we supply the medicines, whatever medical supplies. But it's distributed by the local healthcare workers at saka mga first responders. So again, there has to be good, because always, we provide some of the relief goods and some of the assistance, but in the end, it is the local government who takes the role of bringing all of those supplies, relief goods, kung ano man ang kailangan, to bring it to the last. Again, we refer to it as the last mile, para lahat ng nangangailangan mabigyan ng tulong. Again, unfortunately, we are very familiar with the situation already. We have learned many lessons, and those lessons are now being the lessons learned are now being used to improve our delivery of assistance to everyone. Yes, all right. The last thing was the kids. What are we going to do with the people in some areas? 1 week na ito, and this is what? How many is this? 3 out of the projected 15?
15 pa po.
For the rest
Typhoons.
of the year.
1 to 15.
Sir, right now we have
So
200.
we have to have a
yeah.
plan in place.
Yes, sir.
We cannot just keep sending them home. But the problem is that many schools are evacuation centers.
Yes, sir.
So where do we bring the kids? Where do we bring the children to study?
Wala. Some are in the schools, but thankfully, DSWD has been yung mga inikutan kong schools as evacuation centers. Meron ng pinadala si SecRex na mga relief goods, Mr. President. But of course, those need to be replenished, and I'm sure SecRex will do that over time. What we're doing now, sir, is we're making sure that we give books to the children now. That's the goal, but we're not quite there yet. But so at least they have something that they can do while they're at home, sir.
So let's make sure that our part of that will be the making sure that they get the material.
Yes, sir.
Our teachers, being the heroes that they are, I'm sure they will find clever ways,
Yes, sir.
ingenious ways to continue somehow to continue to
That's
have
correct.
contact
That's correct, Mr.
with the
President.
kids.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
let's ask them, let's ask the teachers what do they need.
Yes, sir.
So that they can somehow conduct some kind of instruction, even in the midst of all of this.
We'll do that, sir.
What's
We'll do that,
happening. I know the satellite, of course, depending on the weather, but yung sa fiber optic, do we have to shut them down for any reason?
So, Mr. President, I've been meeting with Globe, Smart, and Dito, and on the cell services, all are up and running in the areas that are affected. So they're on red alert also. So they have even if it's brown out, Mr. President, they already have diesel fuel in stock. They've also agreed to provide free call and text and some loads during the time of the storm in affected areas. So they'll make announcements within the day. On the fiber optic, we've not received any major outage as the report of NDRRC, NDRRMC. Only one LGU has an affected comms line issue. So the telco naman, Mr. President, when they have coverage, the only problem I think is we need to expand the coverage. But where they have service, it's working, Mr.
It's
President.
working.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So we're still able to continue with our connectivity program kahit papaano.
Yeah,
Well, you know, the backbones are already in place. So it's just a question of continue. Well, if you can still work, and now with the advantage now of the satellite, the small satellite receivers.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. So at least you have that. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can maintain.
That's the ideal, sir.
What we are talking about here is mitigation, of course, flood control, all of that. You know, that of course is the biggest thing. But then it is adaptation. This is not an extraordinary situation anymore. Do not think of it as a special situation. This is, I hate to use the overused phrase, but this is the new normal. Ganito na talaga ang buhay natin kahit ano pang gawin natin. Kaya wala tayong kailangan ang pag-iisip natin, hindi natin sinasabi, ay, baka sakaling magbagyo. Magkakabagyo talaga. At saka ganito. So paghandaan na natin, pag-isip na tayo ng mga panibagong paraan para yun, sa pag-aaral, sa paggagamot ng ating mga may sakit, tapos sa pagdala ng relief goods, sa all of these things. And I think that's the most important shift in thinking that we have to think. In my lifetime, bagyo is an extraordinary activity. Pagka may bagyo, siyempre, bata ka, walang pasok, yun lang. But it's not normal. It's like something unusual that it happens every once in a while. Lalo na yung baha na ganito, every once in a while lang yan nangyayari. So we have to change kasi tayo, well, I don't want to drag anybody into my old generation, but tayo more or less the way we think of it is a once in a while dadaan yung bagyo. We have to change our thinking and say, look, this is the way it's going to be as far as we know for many decades to come. So let's just prepare. Think of it in terms of this is what we have to do, because this kind of situation will continue to arise every time there is a storm, and the storms are coming. They're coming more quickly. They're becoming more strong. They are dumping more water on us. Ang consuelo de bobo natin is that pag nakikita natin ng mga ibang lugar, we see what happened in Texas, we see what happens in India, we see what happens in other places. It's really the change in climate. And we have to understand that the climate has changed. The rain patterns have changed. Memoryado na natin kailan dadating yung bagyo eh. Kailan na natin kung saan dadaan yung bagyo. Memoryado na natin lahat yun eh. Memoryado na natin saan magbabaha. Many, and probably even most, I go so far as to say, most of those things no longer apply. We have to think in terms of the way that what we are seeing now. Because this is not like will happen this year. This will happen again next year. This will happen again the year after that, and the year after that, etc., and so forth. So we have to think in those terms. So our solutions need to be longer term, not so ad hoc, not so, how do you say, informal, but really we have to think of in terms of changing the way we approach this kind of problem. But so far, I'm satisfied that the response of government is sufficient. Well, it's never sufficient, but it is at a level that is providing a great deal of relief to everyone. We'll just have to keep doing this. We'll just have to keep watching the weather. And whenever our assets are allowed, if the rains slows down a little bit, the roads open up, then pasok tayo. Again, the immediate concerns, relief goods, health, and now really our schools. So yun ang isipin natin. Kasi we keep talking about improving the grades of our, if they're 3 months out of the year out of school, how kahit anong gawin mo, di ba? Lugi ka agad eh. So I feel sorry for them because they cannot get their proper education. Yeah, yes.
Sir, we made an announcement that we'll be implementing makeup classes on Saturdays, and we got severely bashed for that suggestion. But I'm standing by it, sir, because we need to do it also. We really need to do it, and it also it shifts the incentives. Kasi ngayon, everyone is pressuring the local chief executive to suspend classes. They get bashed online. Alam ni ni Secretary Rex when he was mayor, he'll get so many messages. And if you don't, alam ni Governor John Vic, if you don't, di ba, you will get bashed eh. Oh, tulog pa si Governor, tulog pa po si Mayor. So now we want to shift it. So they will not arbitrarily ask for that if they know they have to make it up on a Saturday, sir. Kasi ganun daw dati. That's the old policy. They were very strict that if you miss a class, you have to make it up on the Saturday. I don't know what you think about that, sir, because, of course, it may not be the popular decision, sir.
None of this is popular. How can it be popular? Mahirap ang tao. And we do. I know we're doing everything that we can. The funding is there. All our assets are there. But, you know, we just have to mitigate the effects of the storms, and already think very, very hard about what are the adaptation measures that we have to undertake, because this is again, this is not an unusual occurrence. It will happen again for the rest of the year. If we are anticipating 15 storms for 2025, we have had 3. Isang dosena pa ang inaantay natin. But then, think further. Next year, ganito pa rin ito. It will still be the same. So let's prepare. Let's think in those terms. What do we need to do for the next decades, so that we can adapt to the new weather systems that we have.
Along those,
Yes, of course.
Mr. President, along those lines, the Mines and Geosciences Bureau has been preparing the maps and advisories on the rain-induced flooding and landslides, but down to the barangay level. But then we found out that the local government units may not have been able to maximize this resource for planning and for response. We have been that's why we have discussed with Secretary Solidum to have the joint IEC to train actually the local government units in reading maps and using these tools in order to incorporate into their land use plans. I think that's the only way we can
It is, yes.
have for
Yes, it
for
is
the
the
long
only
term.
way. Yes.
So,
All right, yes.
Mr. President, in case of continuous rains, we now have suspended for several days. And it's good that the Malacanang Memorandum Circular regarding suspension is now including the alternate work arrangement, because in government, we must continue our service. So the public service continuity effort of all government agencies must continue. Kung sa bahay lang sila, hindi sila mag-evacuate, pwede silang gumawa ng trabaho to make sure that our productivity does not diminish much, Mr. President. So we should encourage public service continuity. Even maulan, meron pa rin pwedeng gawing trabaho.
Yeah, in fact, there's more work pagka may ulan. So again, first, in terms of the warning, in terms of the dissemination of information, we just have to make sure that our telecom system is up and is working. And pag-aralan na natin saan yung mga lugar na hindi natin naabutan that really needed to hear, to have the information, to have the let's prioritize, let's put them in the GIDA list already and prioritize them so that when this happens again, we don't have the same problem. Like we had those, like now, we will have isolated areas that they never got the bulletins, they never got the instructions, they weren't able to communicate to say, we need help, etc., etc.
Mr. President, for areas where we still don't have telecoms, we have in the regions what we call the move units. These are heavy trucks with mobile, parang cell site na mobile, and satellite dish. So they're all mobilized. So far, they've not been deployed because the telcos naman are...
Well,
so
the areas that have
Yes.
been hit this time generally have a good connectivity.
Yes, Mr. President. So now, we will deploy them in the areas kasi nakaabang sila dun sa mga lugar na baka bumagsak yung telco. But for the past few days, the telco's been able to keep their systems up and running. So we will deploy these move sets already to yung mga areas na wala talagang signal. So we can deploy them na, Mr. President.
All right. Well, again, telecom is key. Connectivity is key. Even if the plans of DepEd, that will again depend on connectivity. So in the more immediate, the more immediate concerns, ganun pa rin. So we can warn people that dumadaan diyan sa inyo, mukhang dadaan sa inyo yung bagyo, maghanda na kayo. Hindi mukhang dito dadaan, dito magbabaha. We can predict, so we can tell people, umiwas na kayo. Ilayo nyo na yung gamit ninyo o maghanap na kayo ng ibang pupuntahan muna for a while. So these are all the things that will help. This is the mitigation side of it. But we really have to put together a plan for the long-term adaptation part of the entire problem. That's probably the bigger. We'll just have to change the way we think. We just have everything is different from what it was in the last 40 years.
Yeah, in the spirit of new normal, as you word it, the hospital facilities, I'd like to report, kahit walang pasok ang government, functional kami. We call it continuity of operations planning because health services have to continue. For nurses and health professionals that cannot go to the hospital, we provide free dormitories so they can stay already in the hospital para tuloy-tuloy ang services. So all our hospitals except the one in Malabon, yung San Lorenzo Ruiz na nabaha yung ground floor, functional sila. Most of the damages for health facilities are rural health units na very limited services naman. And I'm very happy our Secretary of Energy even called me asking about the hospitals that will need additional power in case the power goes down. So lifeline to, so maybe Secretary Garin can talk more about what they did to help our hospitals.
Yeah, that brings us to the next critical service, that of power. How are we doing in the present situation?
Sir, the only problem we have with power is the flooding. Kasi yung Meralco and all the ECs are fast naman. Meralco in minutes they can fix. But they cannot come in if there's still flooding. So there are still areas in Metro Manila. But compared to Monday and to today, sir, mga 20,000 yung start natin eh. But by right now, around 800 na lang yung walang electricity. So the response, because they prepared by already, and then as you said, we're already used to this. Yeah. So sanay na yung mga ECs natin. Among the ECs naman, sir, mga 4 lang yung affected talaga na, which is Benguet, Abraj, more, and the flooded areas, which is Bulacan, Pampanga, Pangasinan. Pero yung sa Benguet kasi, sir, may mga landslide eh. So, mahirap pasukin. And then, Bulacan, it's the flooding. We're monitoring everything. Ang isa is the interagency coordination. For example, we had a problem with the aviation fuel. We were left with 1 day na lang, but we worked with the OTR to allow them to pass through NLEX, and that's worked out. Also with DOH, sir, we're checking. Ang ano din sa resiliency is we need to make sure that the hospitals na kahit mabaha yung first floor, yung equipment safe and functional. So we'll do that, sir. That's the lesson that we learned on this storm. And also coordination. I think we need to have more coordination with the SWD because we were checking the areas, and so far isa lang naman yung nawalan ng power, and the provision of power in their packing center when Secretary, I think you only have until Thursday yata na genset doon. So we're providing more for your center, sir. So I think it's the interagency. We're working on that, sir. So we're meeting regularly naman, sir. But on power side, it's good pa naman, sir.
Mr. President, I'll just jump in. We wanted to run the old equipment also. That's why we're using genset. But the repacking center is fully energized. We just installed it to the new equipment. We wanted to create another line. That's why we were asking for gensets for the old lines lang. Yeah.
It's fixed.
Thank you.
So 1 hour ago. So that's just lang the best we can do right now is just make sure that DSWD and DOH can continue with their services, and we're coordinating with them naman, sir. But as to the service of the electric co-ops, there's no major damage kasi walang hangin eh. So flooding is the only problem we have, sir.
All right.
So,
Okay.
Mr. President, we have one health worker, barangay health worker in Mikawayan that died of electrocution. Heroic to, she went to the she's a 46-year-old. She went to the rural health unit to check on the equipment kasi nga mababasa. But she got electrocuted and died. So
Sir, on that topic, I'd like to ask sana yung mga, like through Secretary Mulya, that the LG should inform yung, kasi minsan hindi nila nakikita, may flooding, so they can cut off the lines. Fortunately, the low-lying incident, well, still less than before, no? But I think the DSWD has been helping us on spreading the safety precautions. But I think the LG should also be aware, sir. Thank you.
Mr. President, when it comes to that, I'd like to commend the OCD who was working very closely with the LGUs. Our points of information were spread very evenly. Our biggest problem really, sir, was the carelessness of the people. Of the 6 deaths that occurred, 3, sir, nagiinuman sa Rizal sa tabi ng ilog na before they knew it, tinangay na sila ng 2 doon, sir. Nagpustahan yung mga bata sa Malabon kung sino kayang lumangoy to the other side of the river. Tinangay rin sila. And one of them was a kid who fell in the creek while he was playing. So it's a lot really of beyond our control already. Sila na talaga ang it's a carelessness and lack of information maybe on our part. It's on what they shouldn't do.
It's actually one of the pieces of information that we have to tell everyone, that don't fool around with this thing, because it can be very dangerous. We had the same problem in Ilocos. When the storms come, we tell people, don't go in the water. But we have tourists. Pag sinasabihan sila ng mga mangingisda, wag kayong kami sanay kami diyan, kayo baka and we have casualties because of that, hindi nakikinig. But we have to make that information known to people. This is very dangerous. You must take all of these things very, very seriously. That kind of activity can lead to the casualty, either injury or death. So mag-ingat sana sila. But again, it's just making sure that we, government, are doing everything that we can, and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. This is it is not a static situation, it's a dynamic situation, it's changing by the hour, it's changing by, so we have to be monitoring all the time to see what adjustments we have to make when the weather situation changes, when the power situation changes, when the telecom situation changes, etc., etc. And to be able to inform as much as possible. Well, first, for me, ma-informahan ng LGUs, malakas ang loob ko na meron silang capacity na ma-disseminate kung ano man instruction, kung ano ba yung balita, kung ano yung mga warning, etc., etc., all of that. So, let's just keep that going. All right.
Sir, yung just Senator Ralph and I were talking, yung mga fisher folk natin from Bulacan all the way to Batangas have not had a source of living for the last 7 days. So but we've coordinated with the SWD already to start distributing relief packs starting Sunday and Monday, so that we can take care of them already. That's around 60 to 70,000, sir.
I see. Okay, all right.
Mr. President.
Well, as long as, yes, Sean.
Yes, sir. On the areas na nag-declare ng calamity, there's a price freeze. And for DOE, that's kerosene and LPG. Pero the monitoring can be done by the LGU, sir. We're trying to ask the oil companies na mag-price freeze din sila sa diesel and gas and postpone the price hike or any adjustments in another 2 weeks pa. But I think the monitoring, we don't have the capacity to do monitoring ourselves, sir.
No, there is that's why, again, every time we discuss these problems, the coordination with the LGU, once again, it always repeatedly comes up as an important aspect of this. Because, again, it's the nature of the thing. We can do everything we can here, but at some point, the LGUs have to come into play. And without them, very incomplete ang ating magiging relief, ang ating magiging rescue, ang ating, again, rehabilitation when the time comes. So let's keep those lines open and make sure that we act upon what the LGUs tell us as to what their situation is. Because, again, they know it better than anybody else. Okay.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, as much as there has also been effects on people on the ground, the movement of people has also been gravely affected by the weather systems. I wanted to report that at the moment we have 1,071 stranded tourists in various destinations, considering that there have been flight and ferry cancellations across 9 regions. We are currently coordinating with LGUs concerned to provide assistance and for the resolution of the same. In terms of preemptive measures to ensure that no bodily harm comes upon tourists, there has been suspension of touristic activities in 11 regions, the most widespread of which has been in Region 4A. And coming off of what Sec. Remulla was saying, there is now reported to be affected around 4,800 tourism workers in terms of the loss of livelihood. And we have a coordination with the SWD to provide assistance in this regard.
Mr. President, regarding housing, 2,400 houses were damaged. Tuloy-tuloy po ang pag-coordinate natin sa mga LGUs para mapabilis yung assistance natin sa partially and totally damaged houses, no, sa mga pamilya. And at the same time, yung mga housing loan natin, nagkaroon na tayo ng moratorium. No? We will not collect for 1 month. Yung mga attached agencies natin, Socialized Housing Finance Corporation, National Home Mortgage, NHA, and Pag-ibig. And then for temporary relief, tuloy-tuloy po ang pag-distribute natin sa mga LGUs affected ng high-grade tarpaulins para temporary cover po nila. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, that's we unfortunately are familiar with how the process, how it evolves. We will come to that. Essentially, when people want to return home pag partially damaged, kailangan nilang building materials. We will provide that. I don't know if we're already at that point. Maybe in some areas, dahil sa ibang lugar, nakauwi na sila. and they will be able to assess the damage, and they will ask us we can provide what they need in terms of building materials, even temporary or more permanent down the road.
Mr. President, in terms of accessibility, we have monitored actually from July 17 up to today about 46 road closures, but as of today, there are just about 10 road sections. These are not the primary roads, these are secondary and tertiary roads, Mr. President. And good thing is the primary roads travel has not been impeded. Open po ang Maharlika Highway all the way from Cagayan all the way to the Mindanao, and Manila North Road has been opened all the time. The only thing that we have closed actually temporarily again, Mr. President, is Cannon Road. Cannon Road for safety reasons, Mr. President. But we expect
Slide na naman ang problema.
Mr. President. But we expect that most of the roads, the remaining roads that will be open today, Mr. President.
Okay. All right. We just adjust as quickly as possible when the weather changes. The minute magka-opening tayo, gamitin na natin kaagad, send the relief goods, send the information, all of these things. Stay connected to everybody. That's the main thing. Just everybody stay connected to each other and to everybody else, to the LGUs, to your people on the ground, on the regional level, at the provincial and municipal level as well. So we are aware of what is happening everywhere and can respond accordingly. Okay. Yep. Is there anything else? Anything else that we need to be? Yes.
Just a reassurance, marami po tayong cash at handa po ang ating mga government financial institutions para sa pagdangailangan ng salary loan, calamity loan, pwede po tayo magbigay ng mas mababang interest.
Well, that's always good to know. There is a ready source of income. Kiko, wala tayong problema sa buffer stock.
No problem, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. President, sa
Okay.
rice, we've been supplying
I know that
LGUs already.
our
and,
warehouses are full.
We're just monitoring agricultural commodities and kung tumaas man in calamity areas, we can impose the price active kailangan.
Oh, sige. All right, so we have that assurance from DA na kompleto naman ang at least bigas yung ayos tayo.
Mr. President, I just wanted to reiterate that the Mines and Geosciences Bureau issues a 2 to 3 day forecast based on the rain forecast on what barangays, at the barangay level, which barangays are susceptible to very high flood, moderate flood.
How do you disseminate that info?
Right now, Mr. President, it's provided to the OCD, and then it's provided to the regional offices of DNR for them to disseminate. But we're trying to improve on that. So I've talked with Governor Daxcua and the others so that we can have real-time dissemination. And this is where I think our other government agencies, if you will find them useful, we will directly, real-time, provide them to everyone rather than through different channels, like it has to go through the region and then from the region disseminated to the LGUs themselves.
Well, that's the key. To be that granular, that's important. Yeah, we go into that much detail in terms of the forecast, because that's the kind of information that people, individuals, and their families can use. So let's keep that going. Okay. All right. Have we covered most of the things at least that we can? Very good. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.